listening to the Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technological advanced silhouette decoys on the market. And Vortex Canada, the force of optics.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430, episode 75. And we have our original, I might add, sponsor for the show, Mr. Craig Mintz from Real Geese, on with us tonight, coming to us all the way from it's the Buckeye State, right?
You got it. Yeah, we are in the northern part of the Buckeye State. So
yeah, got it. My college football is starting to pay off. And then we got Mark coming to us from outside the nation's capital. Dave, you guys know Dave's story. He's busier than a two-pecker dog right now. Phil is probably chasing hippies down the street in Toronto somewhere. And Ryan, we'll save Ryan's excuse for another night. But it's a good excuse. Trust me. Yep. So that's it. So we got Craig on tonight. So, which is really good because it's been a while since we've been talking to you, Craig, and you've had, so it was in the summertime. The last time we were talking, you guys were at your RV, you guys were camping, doing all that stuff. And then you got into the fall season and then that logistical nightmare that I know everybody got it, but it seemed like at least you were very, very transparent with it, right? Like you were on social media and you were saying, listen, I get it. I understand that you guys are waiting on stuff. But this is where it was. You were very transparent. So it was a crazy fall for you guys to get gear in.
Yeah, it's right now it's even worse. I mean, it's we're still doing, that bag was the only thing we'd never made, in the United States. And, when we put in the order, the very first week of June. So June 1st is when we put it in. And it was the last week of October, 1st of November, and when we got them. I was told, and they gave me tracking. I watched when it shipped and left the ports. And after that, it was okay, now sit and wait. And they gave me the name of the boat it was on. I tracked where the boat was, and it was just sitting there. And every day I'd come in and check on it. Every day I'd come in and check on it, and it didn't move. And it was frustrating because then once I got told it was in the States, then customs held it for 2 weeks and went through every box and went through every bag.
Really?
Yeah, so every box was taken out of the original box or every bag was taken out of the original box, went through and then repackaged and then sent to me.
Holy smokes.
Yes, because of smugglings in their bags and it was a huge deal. So that took another 2 to 3 weeks on top of that, and then from California to my place is normally a 5 to 6 day ship. So, you're starting to add all these up and it got frustrating. And the one thing that I try to tell all of our employees is be honest and be open about what happens. If we're out of a product, let people know that, hey, it's going to be 4 weeks before we can do it. Or, these guys, we prepaid some of the bags and I get this, they're $70, $80. And, somebody wants to know where their $80 is. I get it. And it wasn't for a lack of work, people on our end. It wasn't, we did everything we could possibly, when I had mentioned we should get them by October, that's when I was told. And it just kept progressively getting worse and worse. We've gotten them, we love them. We've had great feedback from them. The magnet clip seems to be a game changer in a lot of people's eyes. I've tried to beat one up and we actually put 14 dozen in 2 bags and we overstuffed them, and I paid a guy basically to drive around on a forklift, and we put the slings over the forks and he just drove around all day bouncing them around. And
hey, that's R&D, buddy.
I mean, I don't know much more you can do with those things. So it worked out really well. We got them in stock. We actually just ran a deal with them on Black Friday and Cyber Monday with the other ones. We sold quite a bit. They're now on they're not on Amazon, so it's been a good thing there too. So You know, there's things going in the right direction. This bag, I think, is a game changer in certain cases for us because for years, you know, these shadows have been out. How do you carry them? What do you do with them? How do you change them? And we kept trying to create a bag, and we tried many different ways, and none of it was successful. And we'll get the whole thing, well, you copied this person or you copied that person, but in theory, it's all the same. We just found a way to make it, we think, better. And I felt like we did. So,
you know, this whole copying thing, and I get it, right? Like I get it but it's a bag. Like you can't reinvent a bag. Like every bag is a copy of the original bag that was made by whoever a million years ago.
Yeah, and it's the same way, like
ideally,
a
right?
Car tire. A car tire is still round, and it's no different than anybody else. There's just 9,000 manufacturers. It's just different.
Yeah.
You know, and they all have their different perks. And when I went and started building these bags, the magnet part of it was the huge thing for me. I hate when I'm in the field. I hate when I go to have these clumsy gloves on. I go to make a clip and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
My hands are too tight. Or my other problem is or it breaks because it's so cold.
That's a huge problem.
For me.
That's up here.
And even where you are, Craig. Like
it gets cold.
Yeah. So Merc,
you know,
did Phil's bag have those magnetic clips on them? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
So the awesome thing, and Phil watched this show because he watches it after so I think we went out with Phil, Mark and I went out with Phil about a week and a half ago. And I think it was the first time his bags made it to the field, and he's cleaning up, doing something. And Mark and I are getting ready for the hero shot. Right. So we've got the decoys put back in the bags, and we're stacking the geese, and he comes around the corner and there's blood all over his new bags. And he was like, I guess it was inevitable. They were determined to get on at some point. So, but so I can't remember if the magnetic clips were on Phil's bag.
Was it one of our bags?
Yeah, it was the gray one.
Bring them up right now.
Yeah, it was 100% that it had to have a magnet on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because we didn't sell them without them.
Okay.
That was when we got them all. They're all like that, and the only things that don't have them are the side clips. So you got the bag. You know, width-wise, it going over top. That one's the magnet one's the side ones do not have it.
Okay.
You know, so, but it was a big changer for me because, like I said, I got out to the fields when I was hunting, and I'm like, man, these clips are a pain. God, I hate these things. You know, because I got to take my glove off to clip them, or I go to grab them and it's cold, and the one little tooth is broke off. Well, it's useless.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nothing against the manufacturers. It's just plastic doesn't hold up to -5 degrees. Yeah. You're burying them in the snow because you're underneath your blinds or you're in a layout or wherever you may be in. And it just made it easier. I wasn't happy with the color. It wasn't what I originally picked with. I've had a lot of people ask me why the color came with that. I think it was kind of a screw up on the opposite end, but there isn't much I can do once I get all those bags in a bunch of boxes. But I've always said, if it's color you're worried about, you should have shot that.
There it is.
Oh yeah, that's an awesome one.
Yeah. So that's an awesome picture. So is new bags, but they are like well made. I did like I never. Mark and I were sort of gathering them and like Phil cinched them all up and did all that thing. But I did like the bag. Like if you look at them, just that the fact that the cover, like it's that. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, especially to the people that'll be listening on the podcast, but it's an actual flap that comes over like a square flap, right? Yep. So it's not not a drawstring top. So that was an awesome picture.
Yeah, I love that picture. I think I seen that. Was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. And look at my beard there. Look at my beard there. What an epic beard. You know, you see my beard?
That's pretty impressive.
I see your beard now too.
Yeah, I know. And that's my wife telling me that I think you need to shave. I think you need to trim your beard a little bit.
Well, you got to trim that up for your trip to New York, probably, right?
Yeah, probably. That's coming. That's this week, hopefully. Hopefully I'll make it.
Because that's what I say. if you were coming to New York for longer than a day, you're only about 6 hours from my place.
Well, so that's something I wanted to bring up. So I was thinking about this a couple days ago because I was going to, like I said yesterday, I meant to message you yesterday and I completely forgot. But I think with your proximity to where we are, I think next year we should hit your place and do a hunt.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll come up to have you guys come into the shop like on whatever, a Friday or Thursday, give you a tour around, take you guys out to dinner, and then we'll head up north to Michigan, mid-Michigan area. And we got some guys up there that run our Instagram, Ryan Campbell, and those guys are right in that area with that. And there's some pictures I know like on our Real Geese fan page. As we scroll down for the people that are ever there, you can visit there. There's a pretty good couple pictures of a lot of hunting going on. Yeah. And it's actually by Chris Hubel. He went with them as well. And you can see actually our little trailer in the back. Okay. And actually, we go.
Can you bring that, Mark? Mark, can you pull that up?
That's on the Real Geese page?
Yeah, on the Real Geese fan page. On the fan page.
Yep. But yeah, we'll have you guys come up, do that. We'll shoot some birds. And then what I'd like to get you guys to do is come down here during the summertime when there's racing season and take you guys to a couple of races down here.
I'm in for that. I'd love to come down and do that. I'd actually bring the whole family down for that because that would be I think they would absolutely love that.
Right there is one of my simulators.
I was looking at that and I was like, look at that chair. I'm like, what's up with that chair? And then I could sort of see like the yoke there right in the.
Yep. Yeah. And so it's a full on, basically, I use it in the wintertime to keep sharp and to keep a little bit of movements in my arms and try to keep in shape during the wintertime. So I'll do a 2 or 3 hour race on those just to keep, moving. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and then our trailer in the background that we use to haul some of the stuff in it. So yeah, it's a pretty good time with those guys. And Adam is the first one to our right in the yellow gloves. Yeah, that guy, he's a really good dude. He runs our Facebook and Instagram a little bit with and he's a hell of a dude and has helped me out a lot, kind of figuring out what I need to do. And he's kind of gives me that little insider when I need that. Hey, what do you think about this? And he's not a one to say, hey, that's a stupid idea.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, actually, I'm pretty sure he messaged me the other day about something that I had posted. I'll tell you about it when we're off the air. It's egg on my face. I screwed up, but he fired me off a message and he was like, "Hey, listen, this," and I was like, "Oh, I screwed it." Yeah. So awesome dude, far and very quick too. So sent me a message and all that stuff. So I thought about that the other day. I'm like shit, you're only like 6-7 hours away.
Yeah, we're not that far from you guys.
No, I'm like, that's an easy trip, eh, Mark? Yeah. And I think and Josette would be like, she'd be like, yeah, I'm down for it. She wouldn't come and do, but she would enjoy the trip. I'm sure she would.
Her and the kids can hang out with the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any kids, but yeah.
They'll get over it. My kids are pretty good and grown up by now, at least enough that they don't drive me nuts.
Yeah.
When you guys come to the United States, like if you have to go to Michigan, how do you get in?
So we can cross over.
Through Windsor.
Yeah, we can cross over through Windsor, which is actually Windsor is south of Detroit. So
that's not even an hour away.
Yeah.
I go to Detroit Red Wings games all the time. So
do you really?
We drive right by the bridge.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Better than Toronto.
Not a big deal. Yep.
Yeah. So actually, my geography is bad. So Syracuse to you, how far are we? How far is this? Is it?
Yeah, that one's a farther haul.
Okay.
You're probably looking at 7 hours.
Okay, because that's the furthest west I've been. I guess west. I got to double check. West in New York that I've been is Syracuse, right? And that's like or maybe it's southwest. I don't know.
That would be east for me.
Yeah.
You get up into Buffalo, into that place. That's
Yeah.
far east for me.
Okay.
So
So
if you drew a straight line from Detroit straight
Yeah.
down, you're
Yeah.
right into our building.
oh, okay.
I mean, it's
Easy.
just a straight line. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's
I'm trying. So my reasoning is I'm trying to figure out a way to skirt outside of Toronto so I don't have to drive down through that bullshit.
That would be a mess.
That it's just a mess. And I was like, I just do straight down an whatever it is that'll take me east, but maybe it'll be because you got to skirt around the Great Lakes. That's probably what puts that time on, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, you gotta go around by Cleveland, and if you go up that way, you go up by Cleveland, then you got to start rolling north, and then you start going up by Buffalo, you know, and then it's a big pain. I mean, I never go that way. If I go to Canada, I cross into Windsor.
Yeah.
So, do we have a map? Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah,
We do. So there's Syracuse right there.
Right. Oh yeah, big time. So that is a huge.
Here's Damien, Kingston.
Wait, go screw like zoom in, or I seen an Oswego.
Oswego.
Yeah,
right there.
Zoom in towards. No, I think it's more towards Syracuse area.
There's Oswego.
Yeah, so there's a racetrack right there, a big sprint car track. But I think there's another one up there north in Canada that's
Oswego Speedway right there.
Yeah, that's yeah. There's
Your videos or your map, Mark, is probably like zooming in and really good for you, but coming through on this, it's like really jumpy. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not zooming out and zooming in real quick. Oh, that's
sprint
cool.
car track.
So ultimately, the last 5 minutes of us rambling on,
they'll get over it.
We'll just drive to Windsor and go south of Windsor.
Drive right over.
So actually, I was dog training with a gentleman. I forget his name now. It was for the Nationals dog training here. They were held, and that's where he was from, just outside of your hometown. He was an older gentleman. But he was dog trained. He was up with some friends of mine. They all dog trained together. And so I was there, and I was like, where are you from? And he was telling me he was from Ohio. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I do some stuff with a friend of mine from Ohio. And he was like, oh yeah, where's that? And I'm like, I know Ohio's like, it's a state and there's a lot of people there and stuff. But he was like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. He said, he said, like, I'm 20 miles outside. So
yeah,
that's cool.
So if you see Toledo and you see the little 75 sign just underneath Toledo. So see Toledo. Nope. Yep.
Yeah.
Zoom in right there.
Yeah.
There's Toledo.
Yep.
There's
so right there.
Bowling Green.
So look to your right where it says Bradner. It says 23 and 6.
Yeah.
Right there. That's where Real Geese is located.
Awesome.
In Bradner.
Yep. So our town, that little town, very small. For anybody that's listening in the States, it's open, you know, as long as we're open, you can come in. I'll give you a tour and everything there. You're more than welcome to swing in. Our decoys are sitting on racks. You can see how they're made. Oh, yep. Real Geese decoys.
There you go. Awesome.
And so anytime you guys, like I said, anybody, we have that a lot. Some guys will come in and they'll say, hey, how did decoys get made here? And we show them, and it's a pretty cool deal. I'll walk you right through dead nuts of how we do it. And most of the time we have people dropping in and they'll be like, hey, check this out.
I think, Craig, I think that was something that I noticed back before the season started. Like, you started putting up videos showing, your printers and the fabric and all this stuff, like doing all the work that you guys do, and you showing just those little, those 20, 30-second clips. I think they were really, really popular. Like, there was a lot of people that really dug that and thought it was really cool that you were putting those videos on and showing the processes.
Well, and that's the thing I want everybody to realize is we hang our hats on the, made in America, and you're getting a lot right now of quote unquote made in America, but it's just basically assembled in the United States.
Right.
It's not made here. So if I can take a video and show our workers making a product that they're going to have, our customers are going to have in their hands in less than a month, they're going to be like, hey, I seen a guy actually making this.
Yeah.
And it's what I wanted. And, I'm not afraid to show off our technology because everybody has it. I'm not afraid of that. So I just wanted the people to have that in-depth of, you're walking through a plant, you see what we do. It's not this, glorified multi-billion-dollar building. It's just a standard little building. It's, got some roof on it and some steel around it, and we print in it. And that's, we're, like I said, some of the guys that we have working with us, they're 15, 16, 30 years, 21 years working for us. So it's not like we have new guys on staff. We have some new guys that we've brought in. We about a year and a half ago to maybe 2 years now, we lost what we call our goose girl. If you've touched anything from Real Geese from about 1995 to about 2019, 20, she touched it. She did everything. She packed out every decoy. She put everything away. She boxed everything. Unfortunately, she passed away of cancer. So we now have a new lady that does all this. And she loves doing it. And we also have Brandy. So if you call into our office, you're going to talk to a real person. You're going to talk to a person that's literally going to go out and bag or pack out or do whatever you want to do in that decoy, and they're going to do it. It isn't going to be, they're going to pass the buck to 6 to 7, 8 guys or some warehouse manager in the back. They're going to do it. So that's the kind of thing I want customers to have, that one-on-one feeling when they call. And if they call and say, hey, I got a problem with my stuff, I want to talk to the owner, no problem. I'll be on the phone, no big deal. I want that one-on-one interaction because there's times that they come out and I've had guys call me and say, hey, why did you do this? Or why don't you do this? And that makes sense. And I take it, and sometimes I get guys calling me, hey, you need to do this. Well, I would love to do a lot of things, but sometimes mathematically it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but when you bring up, you bring up Brandy, right? So, and I know Brandy is pretty integral. Yeah, integral. She's fairly integral, to the day-to-day operations and how everything runs so smooth down there, right? And it is a testament to the company, the Real Geese company, and the family that you've created there, because I've seen you on social media on the Real Geese fan page that we're on, and fellas will ask a question, and if you're out of town, like, you'll tag Brandy in the post and say, hey, Brandy, can you look into this tomorrow? And she's like, yeah, I'm on it. Like, and this. It's awesome because it's very transparent, right? And that's a term that I've been using a lot in the last couple of weeks, and I think it's really important. And that is to be transparent. And you got Brandy, I need you, and then fellows can tag her and add her as a friend and whatever. But you're making her available just as much as you're available to all of your customers, right? So
and Brandy started off in a floor. She was a printer and she worked on there, so she's worked on these machines and she's done that, and she's graduated up to be in the position she is now. So it's on a day-to-day deal that she literally knows everything that's going on with Real Geese, everything that's going to happen, when everything's getting printed. And she deals with the customers calling and complaining. She deals. We had a customer and he can get mad at me for, saying that I won't say his names, but he returned one of the bags because it smelled too much. And we deal with customers like that. But that's a customer, they're always right. Hey, that's cool. And Brady didn't ask questions, says, hey, just send me the bag back. And the guy couldn't get it back in a box and was struggling. So Randy went out there, grabbed a box, packaged it all up, put a return label on, shipped him a box, and we brought it back. And then we would credit him and it was no big deal, but it was that kind of thing that Brandy has grown into, that customer service rep, for Real Geese that we're really proud of, that she's on board. And Tina, the other one that you guys are starting to learn and see her face, she's also taking more of the Real Geese role as far as doing posts on social media with our actual true Real Geese page of just her during pack out. People don't realize that every bird that goes out is touched. Every bird is flipped. Every steak is packed. I can tell you on Thursday, so from Wednesday morning until I think it was Monday morning, we sold almost 210 dozen shadows.
Nice.
So you do 210, and go through it all and start counting how many decoys that is. That's a lot of touching. So every decoy is touched, and it's really cool because Tina goes through it all and does that. So it's really cool. Our sales through this weekend was astronomically crazy, which is a great thing. So sales are going in the right direction. The only problem I'm running into right now is getting materials. That's a big deal.
And you've been real busy with that. Sorry, Mark, I keep jumping in here, buddy, and I know you probably got stuff you want to ask, but just
Go ahead. I was looking at the calculator.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do the math.
Yeah. Shit, what was I just gonna say? What were we talking about? Sorry, I got all fucked up there. I can't remember. It'll come to me. But yeah, it'll come back. What was the last thing you were saying, Craig? You were saying something. Oh, you're touching all the decoys.
All the packaging. Mark, why do you got a pair of channel locks? What are you trying to break?
I'm a mechanic by trade, so I always have shit lying around, and if there's tools around me, I
just grab them. That's a good set of channel locks.
Okay, it's actual channel locks.
That's what I said. That's a good shit. That's a good pace.
So let's switch gears a little bit here, Craig. No pun intended for your racing.
Oh no, we're good.
So about a month and a half ago, you send me a message and you say, all right, what bird dog whiskey is it that you like? And I think it took me a while to get back to you. And I said to you, I like the peach stuff. And you said, I just bought them all because I'm going to try them. So you literally
bought every bottle they had.
I was like, well, there you go.
6 different flavors, 7 different. I bought. My wife was like, why do you need that much? I'm like, I don't know which one we like, so I got to buy them all.
That was awesome.
And you guys are like, oh, I can't find it. And my wife was like, Craig, there's hundreds of bottles here. And, I ended up walking out of there with a lot of whiskey and bourbon, but because I really enjoy it. But I was like, oh man, these guys struggle to find this. And I'm literally 5 minutes from my home and there's bottles everywhere.
Yeah.
And this stuff is good stuff.
It is good stuff. Okay. I wanted to get that in because I am shamelessly trying to get bird dog whiskey to start selling here in Canada because there is a market for it, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I'll bring up bird dog whiskey to try and get them to come in. But I do want to bring up, so there's a lot of rumors out there right now regarding Real Geese and these V boards. We brought it up on an episode a while back. Jeff Coates had said, hey, have you heard about Real Geese and V boards and stuff? And so give us the skinny, no pun intended, on V boards.
So I mean, the rumor's true. We are working on it. I can tell you that it's a long road. There's so many different things I got to jump through. There's old patents, there's new patents, there's people that own patents but never made it, and a lot of things that I have to do with my team to get it the right way. The other part about it is making it cost effective. Nobody's going to buy a $200 V board.
That's right.
They're just not going to. So
absolutely,
you gotta find a way to do it that way, and then you gotta find a way that most of these V boards that I've bought on Marketplace or Facebook. I mean, I'm literally on Marketplace and random websites and Facebook and all over just buying V boards that were old, and so I could look at them, because I don't hunt near water. I just don't. So this is a new thing to me, and so I've gotten V boards that were really old, and I'm like, how does this float? And so there's a lot of R&D. I can tell you I have prototypes in hands of them. It's definitely not going to be this season, but it's something that I want to shoot for to release next season. It's something that I want to get done. It's something that I think can be done if the supply chain continues.
Yeah.
Something you can source. You can source it locally, or
within locally, yeah. I'm kind of all over the board. It's still in stateside, but it's not. Everything we do, decoy wise, minus the bags, is done within 2 hour radius of Real Geese. Almost everything. Our plastic, everything is made here, not like made in Idaho or made in Texas. It's made here and it's here. All my boxes, my labels, my inks, everything. So the farthest thing I get is my inks, and that's made in Cincinnati. So I try to do that, but on this case, it's just there's a lot of molding. The molds are the most expensive part. So how they make this is it's basically like your toys that your kids used to have, or you got anything that's plastic that's not thermoformed. It's injection molded. So they take a bunch of resin, melt it down to almost liquid, shove it in this mold. The mold basically gets cold, and you got a part. Some trimming is involved in a lot of things, but a lot of V-boards and the designs that you're doing, all three legs are different. So with that meaning said, you have 3 different molds. Every mold costs such and such dollars. So to get that back, I'm going to have to sell a lot of them. So there's a lot of, I got to like kind of balance this out. Plus I want to field test them for a year, or at least for some point, to see how they're going to hold up. So I'm trying to do all this at one time. And I'll be honest here, right now is not the time to be doing this, because, shipping and getting materials, because now you're talking, fiberglass is not the greatest. And then now you're talking about some other plastic that you're throwing glass, and you're throwing these other particles in for a filler to keep it cheap, and it's not great. So there's a lot of, it's a hurdle, but the rumors of us working on it and having prototypes in hand are true. They will fit every decoy that's manufactured not only by Real Geese, but by everybody else. So you'll be able to, if you run any other of our competitors, buy it. If you want to put it, I don't care what you do with it, know. So it's going to be something that I really like. It folds flat into one stick, so you'll be able to put a bunch of them in a canoe or your boat and go down the road, and throw a dozen of them out, and you're good to go, or throw a half dozen out, and you're good to go. So I can't tell you exactly when I'm going to be able to show even a prototype. But I can confirm the rumors that they are in process. It's something that Real Geese has never done, but it's something that I can't wait to have something that's not decoy related on our website that I can say, hey, that's an accessory.
Yeah, good point. So the point that I had forgot to make, and thanks, Mark, because you brought it up, was at the beginning of the season, you really went on this big push of trying to source as much, like you really put in some hours and some travel time of trying to locally source, like even so much as your steaks and your fabrics and your inks and everything, right? So it really is, it's really cool. And I hope our listeners are really starting to it's starting to percolate in their brains right now, that nothing is like, you just can't turn this stuff on in days. It's months and months that it takes in order to pull this stuff off, right? So
I mean, I can tell you it took me 9 months just to develop the Eclipse Series. Just to develop it, not even to make
wow.
it. So that was 9 months in the making of trying to figure out a best way to make that cloth stick to the corrugated plastic well enough, and to be able to take our shadow prints and now completely invert it, because our shadow prints are printing white ink on black. Now it's white. So now I got to take black ink and print it on white. So it's a completely different, like 180, and it's not that easy. And that's the biggest challenge I had. And then getting, the cloth and getting it stuck to corrugated plastic, because our Pro 2 is in that material is much different. It doesn't have the flutes in it to where the glue is going to sit in the little reservoirs. Because we do all that gluing, all that cloth right in house. So, you know, I don't get to send it to some random place and say, hey, figure it out. It's me figuring it out, my team figuring it out. And I got some people that they can laminate anything you want to laminate to anything. And it's amazing how well they got it. They got it right. And the Eclipse, I think, is a viable option. You don't want the cheapest model, but you don't want to go spend the money on the mag lights. I get it. And you have an in-between that, you know, again, on our gloss meter, it's, you know, your average decoy competitively across the market, and I'm talking corrugated decoys, is about a 4.0 to a 6.0. Now put it to your shine on a car is around 80 to 90. So your gloss, if you put it on a car, is 80 to 90.
Jeez.
And then what we do is a gloss meter.
So hold on. So we gotta reel this back in. So, because I've heard this. So first off, I need to preface this that I'm not a big goose hunter, right? Like I'm a duck hunter, and I spend most of my time hunting over water. Okay, so I've got that out there. Now I've heard it said so many times that no, they're too shiny. The decoys are too shiny. Too shiny. So now, if you're saying that a car, and so a car is at around 80 to 90 on your shine meter. I'm not going to use that fancy word, but on the shine meter that you have.
Yep.
But then you're saying so Real Geese is below, but even all the other decoys that are on the market are around a 4 to a 6.
Yeah, if it's over 10, I would be surprised. I mean, it's no secret we all have each other's decoys. I have every decoy on the market in our building.
So
and I test them, and it's crazy to realize that.
So what I'm getting at is, like, there can't be, like, when fellas are saying they're shine, if you're comparing it to 80 and 90 from a car, which is shine, I get it. But if you're at 4 to 6, that's no shine, really, right?
The problem here is we're looking for shine. That's what they're looking for. You're gonna find it. It's impossible.
Okay.
It's physically impossible to get rid of zero shine on any surface, because it's going to reflect something always.
Right. Okay.
Shine meter that we have sends a beam of light at a 85-degree angle, and then it measures the reflectivity. Now, I'll blow your mind even more. So,
let's do it.
Pro 2s and our Eclipse Series. So most people think that, again, our gloss is about the 4 or 5. Nothing leaves our building over 5. But our Pro 2 materials and our Eclipse are 0.04. So they're not even halfway to 1. And I mean, that's why we patented, and it's a phenomenal item. Now, obviously, you pay for the technology, but
of course,
it's really cool to see that. And again, a lot of people ask me about the shine, and I ask them, "Are you looking for it? If you're looking for it, you're gonna see it,
right?
No matter what you are. And I don't care if it's a full body. I don't care if it's your gun at the end of the thing. You're gonna find it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing that we take pride in, and our guys every batch that we make, if you look at our decoys, on there, will give you a manufacturing date. Yep. That manufacturing date is tied back to a bunch of numbers in our system. We can tell you what ink, what batch of ink, what material was ran, what cloth was ran, what press was on, and what individual within our building ran it. And we know exactly we keep a retain of every sheet. So like today we ran 500 sheets of just standard shadows. So 499 get passed, 1 gets sent to basically our prototype room, and we just use it and go back to reference. When it comes down to that, there's a lot of technology involved in it, but we still are talking about a bird with the size, of a brain with the size of a pea. So sometimes I overthink we over-analyze it, but there's still a lot of technology when it comes to just making a goose.
Of course.
I mean, we all talk about these animals having brains the size of a pea, but they can be educated,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh yeah.
They know what's dangerous and what's not. And if they see something, that shine is something that puts them off. And I've seen shine put them off. I've done enough of it. Yeah, they'll just stop at 80 yards and turn and go. So it does make a big difference when you take the time to hide and have the right spread. So if you're paying attention to little details, you add all that up, and that's going to make for a better opportunity to hunt.
Oh yeah, by far. But yeah, we go into our products and we go to that. Our biggest, our Pro Series is our Cadillac. Everybody knows that, our Pro 2s. And I mean, 30, 35 years. I know people have them on decoys. I mean, that's a long time on a bag, a bag of silos. So it gets there. I can, kind of come out and say it up front that we are working on a Pro Series bag that will be made in the States. It is going to carry the name of the Pro Series. It's going to be more expensive, but I can tell you it's even better than the bag we got now. It's got a better magnet clip that I found. It's built right in Dayton, Ohio, made by 100% or almost, and I don't know what the percentage is, but it's like 95 to 100% American products. I posted on a Real Geese fan page. I was down there and I did a complete tour of walking through the building. It's really cool. I don't know if I'll release it for this season. It might be next season after I field test it, but this bag is something else. It's even better than the bag I got, but obviously it's going to cost more. But again, we have customers that they want to spend more money on a better bag. And this bag has better clips. It's better designed. I've had a lot of people on our Real Geese fan page, which I'm looking at right now because I asked for some questionnaires, is a lot of them, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but they want a backpack bag. They want to be able to take this bag and make it like a backpack. So it's something we've looked into, just having an accessory that you would buy that clips on both ends, and you just wear it like a backpack. So there's going to be some things that's changing to it. And I think that it's going to be something that is a game changer, because now we're going to be able to offer you an economic bag and a full-on bag that I don't have to worry about being on a boat.
And that's like, and that has to be, so, if you're within the waterfowl hunting community or how can I put this? If you're in the business of creating products for waterfowl hunters, there's always going to be someone that something that you make doesn't fit their hunt specifically, right? So there's always going to be that. There's no way to please everybody, and there's so many different ways to hunt and get to your spot. So trying to conform to everybody and trying to make a product that the majority of people will like is hard, right? So, but if you're continually, trying to get your head wrapped around and to come up with these products, like we've talked about it on this show numerous times. What else is there? Like, you used the word game changer, right? So like, there can't be many more game changers out there because we pushed so far. So like when Robo Ducks came out, those were game changers, right? And I'm not taking anything away from the bag, because I do believe that you have the customer base, that you have a group of people that are like, listen, this is what I'm willing to spend on a bag to carry my silhouettes. And then you have another group that's like, listen, I like that bag, but I want something that's a little bit bigger. I want something that's a little bit more durable, because I'm out 70, 80 days a year and I'm hard on my gear. So you need that. So for a business owner and somebody that, like, it has to be, and I don't mean, I'll say stressful, but stressful is probably too strong of a word. But it has to be a little bit hard to try and constantly come up with this game changer.
And it is, and that's why I got a team that they come up with ideas, and
Yeah.
and that's one of the other things that I listen to. People like on our fan page.
Yeah.
I'll look on there and be like, "What do you guys think?" And getting the information from you guys, and getting it from anybody that does this. I want the hunter down the road that shoots decoy or shoots geese a mile away from Real Geese to walk in and say, "Hey, I got an idea."
Yeah.
And if anybody's ever called Real Geese and asked said, "Hey, I got an idea I want somebody to pay attention to," I'll listen to you. And then I normally can come up with a problem or two of why we can't manufacture it, or it might not work. Or there's times that, hey, that's a good idea. Why don't you swing into the office? Type thing. So I am open to all kinds of ideas and all kinds of things that come across. And I want that. It only takes one major game changer to flip a company around.
Great.
To make that holy moly, put them on the map. And I think, you can keep hitting these little things like we're doing. And again, we get that pressure of making new product, making this or making that or making that. And in certain cases, sometimes it's good to do that, but sometimes it's not, because you're not focusing on what you're doing. Just like this year, we came out with an economic black duck and an economic mallard.
Mm-hmm.
And all we did is realize that, hey, our material is very hard to get right now that is of that. Why don't we use it of the same shadow material? And then we did it. It wasn't anything innovative, but I've sold out of them already.
Yeah.
And, material's coming, and we're going to knock it out here soon anyway. But it's those little things and it's a new product, and people love new things. They love this new shiny car that came across the board. And for us, it's not a lot of work, but it's something new. And we go back to a lot of different things of, trying to come up with that greatest invention. And we haven't hit that yet. I'm working on something that I've been working on for now. It's a year and a half that I won't release, and nobody knows about it. It's just, and that would be a game changer for Real Geese. But it's something I haven't perfected, and I've thrown it away. I've said I don't want to do this anymore, and
but yet you keep coming back.
And I keep going back to it, because I'll walk by it in the shop and I'll be like, "Oh man, you know what? I can make that." Or we found some new technology, or we found some new ink that, creates it. And that's the thing that, we're constantly evolving by having our dealers come in and say, "Hey, we got this thing, we got this, and we got this new ink that's even duller." Because the clear coat that we put on our decoys, nobody has access to. That is a 100% in-house mixed, basically a bunch of components that make it dull. And nobody can do it. It's not that they don't have they can't do it because they don't know how. It's just they don't have access to the chemicals to be able to do it. And that's one thing that we take pride in. And sometimes I walk in and my guys have free form of my printers to try pretty much anything. So I'll walk in and these guys are printing some random geese, and they're printing some stuff on it. And I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" "We're trying to make it duller," or "We're trying to make it this, we're trying to make it this." And we've come up with some crazy concoctions that didn't work. We've tried to set the building on fire. We've done a lot of things that, you wouldn't, if you walked into our building some days, you're like, "Man, these guys sell decoys. What is going on?" And it's sometimes funny to be able to do that, because you do have to go through those R&D processes. I mean, this first bag I got, you guys would laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it lasted about 2.5 minutes, and it was ripping and tearing and falling apart. And, when the first corrugated decoy I got, I couldn't even fold it, or I couldn't even bend it. It was just folded into 6 different spots. The first wires I got, you guys knew if you ever bought them, the first Featherlight wires were absolute junk.
Yeah.
And since then we've progressed and made better and better and better. And that's one thing I take pride in, that we consistently go to work, not settling for, okay, we have a product that's good. I want to make it great. I want to make a product that you can't not have.
Craig, and this isn't to put you on the spot and for you to throw anybody under the bus, but with you guys being in the US now, and I get it, like there's some things you've got to go at a state or at a country in order to get done, right? But you're afforded a luxury where you can do all of your art, like you don't have to send away for a sample. You're making your sample yourself and testing it right there, right? Like you don't, there's not this, okay, we got to make this new thing. I want to try this out. We got to send it overseas. They got to make it. Then they send it back. We make our adjustments, go back and forth. And that's time, right? That's a lot of time, a lot of man hours, all of that stuff. But you have a luxury where, you've got a solid team, you've got your business right there. That has to be, and again, I'm not looking for you to throw anybody under the bus, but I would think that there's not a lot of businesses that's able to do as much in-house that you do.
Yeah, I mean, I would challenge other ones to be able to say they can do more.
Great.
It's not saying, that if you would have drove by our place 6 months ago, you would have seen our new economic decoys of the mallards and black ducks sitting in our lawn. I'll literally stake them out front and let them sit there for 6 months. And that's some of our testing. It's no different. And we live in like I said, a real small little community, and people walk by and go, "What are those?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. The prototypes, leave them alone." And our guys, we mow around them, we mow through them, we blow grass on them, we let them sit out there in the wind, the hail, and yeah. I have that because I can test right in house. Now we still send them off to my guys. I still have my select few of about 10 guys that I'll send prototypes to, and I'm like, hey, when you get them, send them back because they can't go anywhere.
That's right.
And that's the one of the cool things that I liked about having is we can build right here in house. And I get frustrated, like these bags, that was like a stake in my heart when we, there was nothing I could do. And, it's nothing I can't yell at my guys to make them faster. Where everything in our house, I'm like, man, we got to make this better. Or I'll go to our supply manufacturer just to boxes. It's like, listen, guys, your boxes aren't cutting it. Let's fix this. Yeah. And that's the one thing that I love about working for a small little group of guys and girls. And Brandy's the first one. She'll test it. We got some steaks in not too long ago, and they were subpar. And she didn't even have to tell me. She went right to the manufacturer and says, listen, this isn't working. You got to fix this. And and I can be honest and open, we got, I think it was like 5,000 snow geese wires, and they weren't coated right. So we sent them right back to the manufacturer. Yeah, that's subpar, we'll fix it. And, that is all built right there. And, and that's the great thing about doing our own testing is I've gotten new wires, get new wire ideas of how to make them so they don't slip down on the decoy and how they don't do those kind of things. And I can have a prototype built in 3 or 4 days. I had a custom bag built by guys in Dayton in 7 days. It was a custom bag, one off. I only have one of them. And he made it and said, here you go. And, so those are the kind of things that's really cool about having these close relationships with small businesses. Everyone that I deal with is not a global company. They're not a Power 5. They're very small little companies like us that have a CEO that does about 19 things in a day. They try to fit 26 hours in a 24-hour day. And I love that, because it could be 7 o'clock on a Friday night and I'm calling him saying, hey, where's my stuff? Or why did this go wrong? And he picks up the phone. It's not I got to call another country, wait, a 12-hour period and go that way. So I love that kind of one-on-one deal. And that's one of the kinds of things that hang my hat on. And you kind of talk about our other companies, and I've said this openly, it'll never happen, but I would love to have a roundtable or just a friendly discussion, whether it's on YouTube, whether we go to some SHOT Show or whatever, with all the manufacturers of silhouettes. Just sit in a circle.
Yeah.
We have that in the racing industry who makes chassis manufacturers, and they sit around a table, they're competitors, but they just talk about, okay, how did, supply and chain demand, why did you do this? And, nobody's throwing anybody under the bus. It is a good conversation to have because you know, a lot of people think that I might dislike this company or I might dislike this company. I don't dislike any of them. They all make product. They all make good product. I'm not mad at any of them. You know, they're actually challenging me to be better.
That's right.
You know, and that's what I want. And, you know, and I would love to have an opportunity to where we had a sit down where we had all these guys, you know, the top guys at each company sit down and just have a great conversation. And half the time, the sprint car guys and the race car guys, they leave with more knowledge of how to, oh man, you did that. I might be able to help you with that, you know, and you actually build a relationship rather than this, you know, kind of like this going on. You know, we don't need that.
No.
And Real Geese doesn't have any beef with any company. And I've said that publicly. I don't have any beef with any company, and I don't ever want to have any. And I've never had a reason to. So, you know, that's the one thing that I would love to have. And that's how open I am about things of you know, just coming in and just come in and say hi.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this because it's been brought up a few times about, you know, how you're trying to source everything and be, you know, made in America and stuff. With the last year and a half and the world being turned upside down and especially a company like Real Geese and the supply and demand, you know, are you seeing more of a demand for American made? Now, I got to preface this with the fact that I understand there's going to be, everybody's going to want American made, but are they willing to pay the little bit extra that it takes to have it made? So I like to throw around the term North American made because but Canada's manufacturing has went the way of the dodo in the last few years.
Yeah.
But and I hear it, right? I hear people say, well, I wish we didn't have to go overseas. Well, you don't have to go overseas. It can be done here. It's just, it's going to cost more to do it here because that's just the way life is. So are you seeing a more, I guess, openness to it being made in America, made in North America, and adding that North American price tag to it? Are you seeing more people open to that vice going overseas?
I think so, but I think sometimes that we're talking about a generation of new goose hunters and duck hunters and hunters in general that are really young. And I don't know, they don't have that. It's not American pride. I don't want to use that. It's
right.
They just want the product. They don't care where it comes from. They just don't.
Right.
And I think it's more readily available now. And I think if you ask me over the last 6 months, I've seen an increase in sales because we have it on our shelf.
Right.
I don't know other companies and I don't know how they sit, but if you're importing stuff, you know, I know the cost of getting an entire shipment of product from China to here or any other companies, Indonesia, or wherever you're getting it from, has risen 300%. So now American companies that you just turned down is now competitive. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. It's $35,000 for a shipment from China to the United States for one container. And you got to have a lot of decoys on there to make it worth it.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, that's like, you have to recover that cost, right? Like, or else you'd be a pretty shitty business if you didn't, right? You wouldn't be able to survive. So
yeah,
you've got to recover that money.
Yeah, in some cases, I think a lot of the other companies or any company in this matter, they either saw this coming or they didn't do it at all. So, nobody's dumb enough to go out and go out and buy a bunch of stuff right now and try to ship it over here because you'll never regain the cost. So I think a lot of it is going to come full circle that the companies that we're outsourcing are now looking stateside or even North American side, because I think they're now looking for other options because getting it from any other country in the United States is an absolute disaster. Even in Canada, when that was kind of a mess, my first question is do I got to pay more to have that boat take my product to Canada first to get offloaded? Because to get offloaded. I'll pay the duties to get it back here because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I was trying to look at logistics ways, of how do I make this better? The North American made, thing that I hang my hat on is not easy. A lot of people will go and resource it to 3 or 4 different companies, and that's it. They just realize they can't do it. I can tell you the bag manufacturer that I finally found in Dayton. I went through 113 bag manufacturers in the United States before I found this one.
That's
and
due
I found
diligence.
This one, and honestly, I found this one because of our Real Geese fan page.
Oh, wow.
A guy that's on there said, hey, I got a buddy that works in Dayton. He makes these bags all the time. Send him a message, see what he says. I set up a meeting, went down there, and it worked. And there's a lot of things like that that's community that's helping us, because these are these little businesses that don't spend millions of dollars on social media, or they don't spend millions of dollars on any kind of, Google, when you Google bag manufacturers, they're not the first ones to pop up, but they're the little ones down there that can bust their tail, get it done, and get it done for the right price. And it is more expensive, but now that shipping and the cost of things getting them imported is risen, it's offsetting that. Now, there's a kind of a silver lining to all this, and that's the case is cost importing now is starting to offset the cost of American made. It's a silver lining into a complete and utter disaster.
Right.
If you want me to be honest with you, but will this change things? And going back to the original question, I think there is, and there are still a lot of our customers that call and say, I only buy because you're American made. But I think we're growing that, and we're growing it because we have the supply. It's very rare and it's very rare that Real Geese is out of stock. Very rare. If it were out of stock, something's wrong. And I'm open and honest about that. And that's the case that if you call and we don't have it, I'm just going to tell you, we don't have the plastic and I can't get it. I can tell you honestly, Pro 2 material is 33 weeks for manufacturing.
Wow. So, and that's, it's impressive that, you're being honest and stuff like that. But I hope, so a couple of things that just in the very brief amount of time where I was manufacturing stuff, or I was having stuff manufactured for me, I guess I wasn't actually doing it. So first off, nylon in North America and nylon in overseas is 2 totally different things. So first off, you need to realize that. So I was, and what brought this on, it was about a week or 2 ago on one of the local Facebook pages here in Ontario. And it was talking exactly that, right? It was talking about fellas were saying, you know what? I don't know why we can't make this stuff. And what it was the shipping and the duties coming from the States into Canada, right? So that was the topic. So why can't we make this in Canada? So I jumped on and I was like, we totally can do this in Canada, but the Canadian consumer isn't willing to pay Canadian prices. I said, it can be done just like it can be done down in the States. It can be done here in Canada. I said, but you guys, and this isn't a slag against anybody, but the majority of my friends, and they are salt of the earth, blue collar, hard working, earn every goddamn dollar that they got. If they can save enough for 24 beer, then that's what they're going to do. That's their mentality, right? Like if it's going to save me enough that I can get a 2-4 beer in my fridge on the weekend, then that's what it's going to be, right? So, but what people don't understand is like, it's cheaper for a reason. And that's what people need to understand. So, and I don't know if that's coming out the right way as I'm talking. But the very first thing, and this is what I do know, is that nylon overseas and nylon in North America are 2 very, very different beasts. And that's something that I hope our listeners could get educated on. But when you talk about, trying to make it American made, North American made, Ohio made, whatever. And you say that there's a group of people. Listen, when I was 18 and 19 years old too, I went whatever was the cheapest because I had very little money, and whatever I could get my hands on, that's the way it was. That comes with and to steal a term from Ryan, the maturation of an individual. Because as I'm older now, listen, I'll pay the extra $40 for something if it's going to last me longer than a season, because I don't want to have to go out and a break on me, and then I got to replace it, or I got to order it, and now I'm out even longer, right? So, anyways, we're getting close. There's a couple things we got to get through.
Yep.
Mark, is there anything, buddy? We really just use you for your computer savvy skills tonight and sharing your screen.
No, that's all good. Just expanding a little bit on what you're going on about sourcing things overseas. A lot of companies source things overseas, not only to, I wouldn't say their main motivation is to sell something cheaper. The main motivation is to have a larger profit margin.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff we're buying that's made in different Asian countries that's still not cheap, but the amount of profit made by the company selling it has gone way up, right? So that's another driving force behind some of these. And when that's their main goal, is to create more profit for themselves, then which is, I'm not against that. I'm just saying the quality of the product is not always going to be the driving force.
The driving factor. No, good point. You're absolutely
but if you own a business and you can make more money doing the same thing, why would you not? I mean, it's not. I don't blame anybody for doing it. It's just you start looking at that, and you are exactly right. I mean, it is a driving force. I mean, money talks. I mean, there's nobody tells you differently. Whether it's Canadian dollars, United States dollars, which the United States dollar is about useless right about now. So it makes it even worse. So
don't come north of the 49th parallel there, buddy.
So I do have two things. Actually, I got three things. One, you talked about a 24. What the hell's a 24?
So a 2-4. So in Canada, when you go to the beer store to buy beer and you say, I'm going to buy a case of beer, a case of beer is 24 beer. You don't buy less
24 of them.
Yeah, you get 24 beer, except in Newfoundland. No, in Newfoundland. Yeah, in Newfoundland, where Mark and I are from, a case of beer is 12. But anywhere, I would say anywhere else in the country, a case of beer is 24 beer. So usually, if you were living in Canada, Craig, and you invited me and you said, okay, Damien, we're doing an all day barbecue we're doing a tailgate. There's a football game. We're tailgating. We're barbecuing all day. If I showed up with 12 beer, you would make fun of me, because why are you only showing up with 12? Why wouldn't you show up with 24? We're here all day. So there's two reasons for this. One, the guy is cheap and he doesn't want to buy 24 beer, or the other reason would be is that he knows he won't drink all 24 beer and he doesn't want to leave any at your house. That's the other reason. Mark's laughing because he knows what I'm saying is 100% right. So anyways,
we have 12, we have 18, and we have 30 packs.
So 30 packs. So we'll get 30 packs, but it's like special occasions. So like Canada Day, like you can get a 30 pack. May 2-4 weekend, which is, the Queen's birthday. So that's a special occasion in Canada. So there's usually, and that's the May 2-4s, like they say that's the start of summer, right? So there's always special. So you can get 30 packs then, but ordinarily like 30 packs aren't the norm. 24s are the norm.
If you go to Quebec here, you can get 48 and 60 packs.
Yeah. Jesus. So Costco. So in Quebec, Costco in Quebec, it's almost $1 a beer. So you go in there and they're cube. It's like a cube of beer. It's like 60 cans of beer, and it's in this cube, and it's like $70. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's like when you got a friend driving through Quebec, you're like, hey, how close are you going to be to a Costco?
Because stop in there and get you some.
So
Perfect.
okay, so that was one thing.
So
you got two other things.
Yep. So the second thing is I'm going through my our Real Geese fan page, and I was reading a couple of them. Brian asked me, so what is my favorite Real Geese decoy? My favorite is Mag Lights, because that's the original. That's the old school kick it, easy for me to make. I got some that are, I still have some that were made in Washington that have 1990 stamps on. If any of our customers come across those are collector's items. You can use them, but if you call me and say you got some of those, I might trade you for some Mag Lights. So because those aren't, they lasted a long time, but we didn't make a lot of them in Washington. And it's a pretty cool little collector's item. Mike Smith asked, set up any different for solos versus full bodies. I'll be honest with you, I don't use full bodies, so that'd be a Mark question. It'd be more of a thing that I use them, and he just lets me set them around his, and we have our own little deal, and we go around the thing and we work. I don't have any issues with setting them inside of them. I set them the same way I would if I had a full body, I'm guessing. I don't know. I said I've never used them. Is that fair to say that?
I've used them blended, and I'm a fan of using the full bodies on the outside if you're going to blend them, just for that extra dimension on the outside if you're going to have it, so that when they're down, when geese are going up high or circling around, because when you circle around the edge of decoys, which happened to us a week and a half ago, Jamie, we would have geese that would circle and circle and circle, and I don't know what they were sizing up, but it would take them forever to actually commit. And maybe a full body on the outside, just to give a little more dimension on the outside, maybe. Yeah. But if you're going to blend them, that'd be my plan.
Awesome. And then Matthew Hicks asked about future developments. We already talked about the V board, so that's good. Yeah. Chris asked, what do you find the ideal distance apart between decoys? I use 5 steps. It can be 5 steps. It can be 4 steps. It can be 6 steps.
Bill, so when I was setting them up the other day with Phil, so I was trying to do, the T. So I was doing a bunch of the T, and then Phil said to me, no, let's not do that. Let's do every 3 to 4 feet. Put in a silhouette. And I was like, okay. So that's what we done. We did every 3 to 4 feet, Mark? But I had a bunch at like that T, just to give it that dimension like Mark is talking about. But Phil's like, no, don't worry about it. Just every 3 to 4 feet, stick one in. Obviously not all facing the same direction and stuff like that, but and it worked. Yeah.
Yep. And the last one is do you go out hunting much, or at all? Let's hear some stuff about me. No, I don't get out hunting much. I got 2 kids. I coach girls basketball. I race. And between the businesses that I don't. I would love to doing it more when I get older. I want to. My dad's finally getting more retired. I hope he goes and hunts some more. We shoot on Sundays, sporting clays, clay pigeons type things, but it's nothing that, I don't get to spend a lot of time out in the fields. I want to, I just don't have time. So I don't do that. Like I said, I right now I'm hot and heavy in coaching girls varsity basketball, which I enjoy. I love doing it. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you'll see me retweet a lot of things like that. You can kind of check in on me, but that's something I've done for now. I'm on 15 years. So I've been doing it a long time, and I enjoy that. So that would be number 2. So I think I answered all the questions. I wanted to add a little bit of a tweak in it, because a lot of people ask, questions after the show, and I'm like, it's too late now.
Yeah.
So, yep. The third thing is since you've probably watched the listeners on podcasts, or if you've watched us on YouTube, you're dived into it pretty deep, which we appreciate, or I appreciate even more. When this releases, you can use the promo code Punisher, and that'll get you 30% off our entire store. It'll be good for 48 hours. So when you hear this, listen to the show, comment on their social media, say that what you're getting, kind of a cool thing. It'll be good. I can't offer free shipping, but we can do the 30% off. It's a pretty good deal right now on a lot of our stuff. Get you some, some shadows, or get you some Eclipse and get you a new bag, and 30% off. It's you can fill up a lot of spread with that way and be good to go.
Yeah, awesome, buddy. We really appreciate it. So everybody listening, this will air. Mark, what are we looking at? When will this air, buddy? I'm sorry.
Monday, or are you gonna do it earlier?
No, it'll air on Monday. So
I like Mondays because that's a good thing for me, because I put my my earplugs in and I walk around the building.
So the 6th. So the 6th of December, this episode, obviously, you're listening to it right now. So the 6th of December, this is when this will air. So you have 48 hours. So until the 8th. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll make this a little easier, just depending on when it gets out to the public. We'll make this to the 9th of December. It's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you make sure that people are listening, don't post it anywhere. Make sure people are listening to the show, that they, listen all the way through it and get a good laugh out of it, of us goofy kids, up here talking about decoys.
Absolutely. No, appreciate it. So listen, obviously everybody that's listening and watching, up until the 9th of December, obviously, awesome for you to get some extra Christmas shopping done, 30% off, an amazing discount, and especially to our American friends, awesome for you guys, because then you don't have to worry about that shipping. But to our Canadian friends, you know what, that 30% off will offset your shipping costs and a little bit more, right? So excellent opportunity for you to get that last minute Christmas shopping in. Craig, buddy, we can't thank you enough for everything that you and Real Geese have done for us, and really, stepping up and coming to us and saying you wanted to be a part of the show way back when it first started. And last week, on the last episode, Phil and I had talked about it, and I'm hoping by the time the 6th of December comes and this show airs, we'll be at 10,000 downloads just on our podcast alone. And Merck and I have talked about it, and Craig, we talked about it before we started recording. When we came up with this idea, 10,000 downloads was a bit of a pipe dream, I think, and something that we really didn't know if we were ever going to be able to pull it off. And here we are at episode 75, and that is in due a lot of thanks to you and Real Geese and the amount of support that you've put behind us. It says a lot about you and your company and your team. And I can tell you, just in the dealings of the people that have, come through us to go to you to buy product, they are extremely happy with the customer service that they've got. So, and obviously, we wouldn't have continued a relationship if our listeners weren't being satisfied, and they are extremely satisfied. So I can't thank you enough. And I'll say that on behalf of Dave, myself, Mark, Ryan, and Phil. So thank you very much for all of that. There was another thing I wanted to say. So we got the promo code. That's good. 10,000 downloads. Everybody, we'll do a round table here, and I'll just get this out of the way. But I can't thank everybody enough for all of the downloads, all of the views that you're watching. We really are creating something that is very, very different in the waterfowling world in North America. And that is being real and transparent and not hiding anything, and just being the real people that everybody is. And And if you haven't figured it out yet, all of these companies, Real Geese and Ducklander Calls and all, these are not multi-million billion-dollar companies. And they really are a customer-driven company that you can reach out and you're going to talk to a real person. It is not a faceless organization. And I really want you guys to all understand that, even though you think that these are massive, massive companies, if you listen to Craig tonight, it is a family, and that is the way it's treated, and that is the way that they view themselves. So listen, don't be a douchebag when you call and you're asking for stuff. That just understand that they're human, and they're not a multi-billion-dollar company. So stop being douchebags. Not that any of yous are, but I'm just throwing it out there. Quick round the table. Mark, to you first. We'll give Craig the last word, and then we'll end it right there. Mark.
Great seeing you again, Craig. Great chatting.
Yeah, of course.
Bringing always a wealth of new information on what's going on with your business. I love hearing about it. Have you been following the Packers much this year?
Yeah, I know you kicked the butt of my Cincinnati Bengals, so I know that was a rough. I was gonna give you a little text about it because it was the game that we missed 18 field goals to win the game, and neither one of us wanted to win. And I've had a rough going of football. My Buckeyes lost to our rivals last week, so it's been kind of a rough football line. But no, the Red Wings are getting better, so that makes me feel better. But other than that, it's kind of downhill.
Yeah. It's all going up for the Red Wings, buddy.
Red Wings are going the opposite way of my hockey team.
Yep, and I sleep so much better every night knowing it too. It's awesome. Craig, buddy, last words to you, my man.
Hey, no, I appreciate everything you guys do for me. For us, for Real Geese, we get a lot of people saying, "Hey, we listen to the podcast. We're coming in and all this good things." So it's a blessing. When I came back to you guys, a while ago, my biggest thing is it's raw, it's uncut, it's what I like. It's a bunch of guys, like you guys say, that just enjoy each other's company, and that's what I love. You see a lot of podcasts that are scripted, or that you see a lot of podcasts that are edited, or they gotta, you gotta talk about this, you gotta talk about this, and it's just whatever you want to talk about. That's what I like. You get Jeff Coates on here, and you never know where the ball's going to go with him, and yeah. You get a lot of these guys on there, and that's what I like about it. You'll talk about this one time, and you'll talk about this another time, and that's what I think it separates you guys from the other places. And what I really enjoy and what I hold on to is, it's raw, it's uncut, it's what you guys are feeling. You're not holding back. You're not worrying about some guy, pulling a sponsorship because you said the wrong thing. It's what I want in helping a business. And when I seen you guys, that was the first thing I wanted to do, is help out the best way I can. We as Real Geese are going to keep going and keep giving away you guys whatever you guys need to give away to give to our listeners, and whatever they need, we'll get, and we'll go from there. So I appreciate it. Again, if you need anything, just find me on social media, call our office. Don't message me at 12 o'clock at night because you live out on the East or West Coast and expect me to answer. But normally I get back to you within 24 hours and say, hey, this is what I think, or give us a call. Because we have hiccups with websites, every day. Our shipping sometimes multiplies, and it's just, we've never found this out why it does this. But give me a call if you have a problem. Don't be afraid to say, why is this doing this? I'll make it right, and make it right to where you feel that you're taken care of. I want you to feel that we're one-on-one with everybody, and if you need these guys, Mark and Damien, if you same way, if anybody comes to you guys,
Absolutely.
Send them my way. I'll do what I can and make sure everybody supports one another.
Absolutely. And you know what, excellent note to end on tonight. You know what, everybody help everybody out, and we'll push through and motor through, and everything will be good. Listen, this was episode 75. I might get a little teary here. Thanks, Craig, buddy. I really do appreciate everything that you've done for us Mark, thank you again, buddy, for taking time on coming out. I know you're super busy. Craig, you're super busy. Channel locks. Everybody, this was episode 75. Just like we always say, we are just a bunch of regular dudes that love one another's company. No one will ever pretend to be an expert. This is episode 75. Like I said, Craig Mintz, Real Geese, the premier sponsor of the show, and has been with us right from the beginning. So big love to everybody. Remember, subscribe, ring the bell, download. Big love. Take care.